everyone. I want to welcome you today and thank you for joining our panel. I have Reverend Linda Burdett and Susan Jarboe that will be with me, and I'm going to be leading a very interesting topic that really touches each of our lives. So I'd like to open us in prayer before we go into this. So take a moment just to get centered, get relaxed, clear your mind. Take a few deep breaths in, bringing in the clean, fresh air, and exhaling all the stress and worry that you have for today. And let everything come to a peaceful resolution within you and around you, knowing that you are here for this moment and now to be fully present. And we open ourselves to the divine who guides us with our topics and with our discussion. And we are so grateful for all who join us and for the sharing of our like minds. We thank you, God, for your many blessings, and we ask that you guide us along our paths. Amen. So my topic today is about the top 5 regrets of the dying. I came to this topic because it seemed that within a matter of a few days, I either got an email that discussed this, I saw a videotape about it, or there was another resource that was maybe something on TV that talked about that when people are in their final stages and ask about when their life, it's not what they did, it's what they regret that they didn't do. And I'd like to share these 5 topics. And this comes from a book that was written by Bronnie Ware, who's a songwriter from Australia, and she wrote a book called The Top 5 Regrets of the Dying, A Life Transformed by the Dearly Departed. For a while, she served as doing palliative care for those who were in their last 3 to 12 months. And this is some of the things that she wrote about in her book, and it's really excerpts that I'm coming up with. So I just really want to share this and open it to the panel to hear their input to this. So for many years, Bronnie worked in palliative care for patients who had gone home to die, and she spent the last 3 to 12 weeks of their lives with them. People grow a lot when they're faced with their own mortality. We learn that we never underestimate someone's capacity for growth, even at the end. Some changes were phenomenal that she learned. They experienced a variety of emotions, of the usual ones of denial, fear, anger, remorse, and then eventually acceptance. And every single patient found their peace before they departed, though. So when questioned about any regrets they had or anything they would do differently, common themes surface again and again. Here are the most common 5. I wish I had the courage to live a life true to myself, not the life others expected of me. Most people had not honored even half of their dreams. They had died knowing that it was due to choices they made or not made. It is very important to try and honor at least some of your dreams along the way. From the moment you lose your health, it is too late. Health brings a freedom very few realize until they no longer have it. The second one was, I wish I didn't work so hard. Many times I've heard the saying is that, your job you may think your job is everything to you, but when you're gone and you die, next day they have somebody else filling your seat. And it's the people that you ignore that you don't spend the time with. So they deeply regretted, and most of this were the men that had this regret, was spending so much of their lives on the treadmill of a work existence. By simplifying their lifestyle and making conscious choices along the way, it is possible to not need the income you think you do. by chasing after that, saying, I've got these bills to pay and I've got to do this and send the kids to college and everything along the way. It's like they missed out on the growing years of their children. Or so it's one of the suggestions is creating more space in your life. You become happier and more open to new opportunities, ones more suited to your new lifestyle. A third regret was, I wish I had the courage to express my feelings. Many people suppress their feelings in order to keep peace with others. As a result, they settled for a mediocre existence and never became who they were truly capable of becoming. Many developed illnesses relating to the bitterness and resentment they carried as a result. Louise Hayes was a great teacher of that about dis-ease. Is really when you have illnesses, it's what's going on with your emotions. So we cannot control the reaction of others. However, people may initially react when you change the way you are by speaking honestly. If they've been used to you not speaking up or not saying anything, it's going to be hard for them to adjust to this. In the end, it raises the relationship to a whole new and healthier level. Either that or it releases the unhealthy relationship from your life. Either way, you win. A fourth regret was, I wish I had stayed in touch with my friends. So often they would not truly realize the full benefits of old friends until their dying weeks. And it was not always possible to track them down. Many had become so caught up in their own lives that they had let their golden friendships slip by over the years. There were many deep regrets about not giving friendships the time and effort that they deserved. Everyone misses their friends when they are dying. It's common for anyone in a busy lifestyle to let friendships slip. People do not want to get their financial affairs in order. People do want to get their financial affairs in order. Sorry about that. If possible. But it's not money or status that holds the true importance for them in those final days. They want to get things in order more for the benefits of those they love. It all comes down to love and relationships in the end. That is all that remains in the final weeks, love and relationships. And the fifth regret was, I wish that I had let myself be happier. Many did not realize until the end that happiness is a choice. They had stayed stuck in old patterns and habits. The so-called comfort of familiarity overflowed into their emotions as well as their physical lives. Fear of change had them pretending to others and to themselves that they were content, when deep within they longed to laugh properly and have silliness in their life again. So when was the last time you had a really good belly laugh? So I want to take this to the panel, to Linda and Susan, and ask you some of the questions that came up. So some simple questions that were raised. And one was from the poet Mary Oliver. Tell me what it is that you plan to do with your one wild and precious life that remains. And if there is still more to do with this life, is there more purposeful and intentional way to support your dreams? So I'm going to pose this to Susan and Linda and for your input. So who would like to speak?
Well, I can definitely speak to all of this. And it was wonderful taking a look at what the common regrets are in this. For me, my dreams have changed an awful lot from what they were. And it was a big part of my growth to be able to let go of who I thought I was and open myself to all that I could become. And I'm sure there is more that I can do in support of the changing dreams. I'm open and I'm saying yes, and I'm building a community, and I plan to stay open to more of it. So I hope that answered the question. I also wanted to say that my sister-in-law is a hospice nurse, and she has been for many, many years. And she tells some really amazing stories. I heard you say that the author reported everyone who passed found peace before they made their transition. Whatever their regrets were, they found peace within themselves before they moved forward. And that's definitely my sister-in-law's report as well, that people linger and linger and linger until they do find peace and they are ready to go. And even people who transition very quickly when we weren't expecting it, I just know that on some level they were ready, even if nobody else around them was ready, and that they didn't have to go through a lot of pain and a lot of lingering before they were able to make that transition. It may seem really sudden to us, but I believe spiritually they just stepped from one plane to the other without having to wrestle with, will everybody be okay if I leave? Well, will I be able to find a good home for my dogs? Whatever it is that keeps us tied into the physical life. Personally, off of everything that you read, I have no regrets. I could have stayed in touch with people better than I have, but I honestly believe that my friendships have all gone on the course that they were supposed to go on, and trying to force it to be different and put them back on my path when they've taken their own path. I don't see that as something that I would want to do. So there's my thoughts and my insights, and thank you for this topic. And, thank you for the research that you did on it too. It was wonderful. Thank you.
Well, I appreciated this list, and there are ways in which I think it's a good list, and there are ways in which some of these things did not quite ring true with me. And one of them was the sense of having a goal for the rest of my life. I have had the challenge of fighting the achievement norm for our culture and our country. And we're always supposed to be doing something and getting somewhere. And so, in terms of a goal for the rest of my life, I don't have one. My goal is to listen to God every day. And if there's a goal that comes out of that, great. But that's where the goal has to come from. It not from my own motivation. Uh, I don't think about working so hard. I don't think I have any regrets there. I worked really hard and I loved it. But as you mentioned, that one came up, I think, with a lot of men, and they might have found it difficult. I don't know, but men might have found it difficult to achieve a balance in life. Whereas I worked really hard, but I also played really hard. One of the things that I liked was when you mentioned how people stopped interacting with old friends. And one of the things that I have found in my life is that the old friends, I mean, the ones from first grade, I really appreciate them as I grow older because they're the ones, they remember my parents. They remember the little girl I was, and I remember their parents. And so it's like verification that that really happened. Um, and and so I've always loved old friends. And for whoever all is listening to this, I want to reinforce that, you know, find them and send them a Christmas card. Uh, because that has meant a lot to me as I have grown older. There are a couple of other things you mentioned. People regretted not having expressed their feelings and not having let themselves be happier. And I immediately began to think of the unity principles about what is, well, not just the unity principles. The first one, expressing oneself. Uh, to me, that's a communication skill that people should learn somewhere along the line. It should be part of our repertoire of interacting with others. Because so often when people think express your feelings, what they mean is, let it all hang out. And to me, as someone who studies communication, I don't think that's what it is. So I hope people who are listening to this will learn how to express their feelings as soon as they can. It's a communication skill that we need to learn as soon as possible. And in terms of letting oneself be happier, that's where I really think unity comes in, that we create our own realities in our heads. And that is also something that I hope people could learn uh, early on. So these 5 things, all of them really said something to me, even though I didn't quite necessarily agree with uh, the implications of them. But thank you, Kathy, for this.
Well, thank you, Susan, for sharing your thoughts, and for Reverend Linda for bringing in point. For me, as I did this, I just recently lost a longtime friend of mine. My girlfriend's husband passed away about a month ago, and I'm going to be flying back to my hometown to spend a week with her, to be there to support her through this transition. And one of the things I learned with that, I mean, I was a bridesmaid when they got married 48 years ago, so they've been a big part of my life for a long time. But one of the things when it says staying in touch with old friends, and I've stayed in touch with her and through the years, that she's been the one that's been the best. But this one day I thought, I need to call and see how things are going. Her husband had cancer, and that was the day he died. Something inside of me said, reach out, and I didn't do it. And one of the things is like getting in touch with the old friends. I need to listen to that inner voice that comes up to me and say, boy, I haven't talked to so-and-so in a long time, and pick up the phone and call or drop a note to them, because even though they're not a main part of my life today or this, but we shared a moment, we shared a time. And if they're traipsing through my head, there's somehow maybe they need to hear from me. Maybe there's that moment in time. So it's part of that, those golden friendships, like Susan said, was those people knew you growing up. They knew your families when you talk about. So that basically also knows that they can commiserate with you as you sort of go through those losses of those family members that you have. Yes, we have friends that we make along the way, and they've served their purpose and they got off the train and we're still gone, and new people get on and come into our lives. But there are those that are those moments, and I just want to honor for myself is that when those thoughts come up is like to reach out. The other aspect, I think, in some of that is part of what the 12 steps is, making amends. And I think some people in their part of their regrets was not staying in touch, because they may still have unfinished business with those people. And that may be why they need to reach out at that point in time, So a good lesson is each day is make amends as quickly as you can. And if you're thinking about someone that, you know, wronged you some time ago, you know, clear that up, do the forgiveness work, and maybe reach out to them. And so it just sort of like these things I just brought for me was all these lessons is that many people we look at it and they live a very full and complete life when they think everything was wonderful. However, maybe they were so busy taking care of everyone else that they never took the time to sit down and watch a good comedy or have a good cry with someone, you know, that they just always were the strong one that people came to. And so it's a matter of, like I said, when was the last time you had a good belly laugh? When would, you know, that you just got so tickled that you laughed so hard that you cried. And that's sort of one of the things that I sort of miss that now is that I've become sort of serious and things like that, that I'm not finding things that make me laugh anymore. And, you know, it's like I seem content and happy. However, there is that time to just sit around the table and laugh till you cry, until everyone is just totally what I call snorting. If you've ever laughed that hard that you start to snort, you know, it just gets that point where you know you've really opened up to life and being really full and happiness. And you love to be around those kind of people that can make you laugh and can do those kinds of things. So so some of the things I really learned a lot from this. And in my question was, you know, what do you plan to do with your one wild and precious life that I have remaining? I'm writing books. I'm writing my memoirs. I'm writing about the things that made me who I am today. And that's the one purpose I feel that I have left to do, is to write this down and put it out there and create these stories that, you know, that creative side of me is being able to put it out there, even if it's just taking a few of your photo albums and some of the pictures in there and write the story around, you know, what was going on in this picture, and just leave something that's a part of you behind. And that's what I feel like my purpose and intention is with the remaining days that I have, that I want to be able to feel that I have left a piece of my soul with those that are behind me. And it's sort of as I feel that's my thing. So with what I want to close with is there's a wonderful video. We're going to try to put the link to this video in with this write up. It's called Everybody Dies, but Not Everybody Lives. And it's about 5 minutes long. It's on YouTube. It was produced in 2023, and it really talks about, you know, the people and their regrets that they did not live their dreams. So if you have an unfulfilled dream, maybe this is the time to look at fulfilling that dream or working towards it. So I'm going to close with these last words, and I want to thank my panel, Reverend Linda and Susan. It's always great to hear your input. We love to hear from the people that are watching this. Please leave your comments. If you liked what we talked about, please like that, subscribe. We'd love to have, if you haven't subscribed already, please be one of our subscribers so you can get notification when we do these topics. So let's close with this one thought. Life is a choice. It is your life. Choose consciously, choose wisely, choose honestly, and choose happiness. And with that, we're going to say goodbye. Have a great one.
Thank you for joining us, and let's stay connected and grow in spirit. We are on Facebook. Search for Unity Church of El Cajon and follow us and like our posts. You can reach us on YouTube at Unity Church of El Cajon. Please subscribe to our channel, watch our videos, and leave comments which can help us improve. We are on the web at unityofelcajon.org. Email or call our church office to receive our weekly newsletters, which lists all of our activities and opportunities to learn and grow together.